So, hello everybody, and thank you very much for attending us. Thank you, Sportbiz, for this wonderful and big organization and event. It's getting every year more important in the international sports business calendar. So, Patricio, I congratulate you, and go on and make it bigger. Johan Cruyff Institute, thank you very much that you gave us this opportunity to have this panel today to give you an insights about the future of the stadiums. Not only football, in general, sports stadiums. I think we can be very short because we are going to give you hopefully an answer at the end about where we will be in some years. Think yourself where you think in 5 or 10 years a sports stadium, football or whatever, athletics will be. One thing I can tell you for sure where it will host sports, players, and a field or track or pitch or whatever. But the rest, our panel, members of the Orange Sports Forum Spain organization, are going to give us that answer. Thank you very much. John.
Yep, now it's doing. For me, I'm just here to give some background for these guys. But I want to take you along, let's say, in stadium development over time. Obviously, you know several of these stadiums, starting with the Colosseum. That was built long, long way back. And then to the left lower corner, that's the typical English stadium. That was built somewhere in the 19th century. Going to our proud, let's say in the Netherlands, the stadium of Ajax, Johan Cruyff Stadium. And to the lower right, does someone recognize the stadium? The lower right? No one. It's SoFi Stadium in LA. And if you look at, let's say, these stadiums over time, it's incredibly what you see. So first it was just built to host people, to give them a roof on top of them, let's say, to stay warm and to stay dry. But if you look at the lower right corner, any idea, let's say, what this stadium has cost? Just shout out. 2 billion. Go up. So this stadium, that's the most expensive stadium in the world, has been built for 5.5 billion US dollars. The lower corner to the left, let's say, that was typical stadium in England. If you look at Anfield, the stadium of Liverpool, was originally built for £10,000. That would be somewhere around 1.2 million now. So you see that it has changed a lot over time, and also, let's say, how it was built. So this is a stadium in Morocco, the Hassan II Stadium. This will be built for the 2030 World Cup. Morocco will make a statement, let's say, with a stadium like that, but this will cost definitely, let's say, 1, 2, 3 billion to build. And another example of a stadium, let's say, that is being built in Saudi. At least this is an artist's impression of that stadium. And everybody has heard, probably has heard of Project Neom, has heard about the line. This is the stadium that's built in the line. You see a cruise ship going in. Incredible. But with these stadiums, and with the amount of money involved, it needs to be 365 days designations. And that means that it needs to be multi-purpose. And we've seen, let's say, to the left for you, it's the Stadium Bernabeu in Madrid that can store all these turf, let's say, in the basement. To the right, it's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, also has these retractable pitches. This costs a fortune, but it makes the stadium more easy to develop. But this is the downside of it. The 2014 Olympics were held in Rio de Janeiro. To the left, that's the aquatic center at that time. To the right, that is how it looks now. We call that white elephants. They didn't think about how to exploit a stadium like that in the future. So it costs a lot, and they burn a lot of money with that. In the world, there is more stadiums that are already there than new stadiums being built. A stadium like the stadium of FC Barcelona, Camp Nou, is being redone. And it means, let's say, that you will have a beautiful new stadium as soon as you can go in. And I hope that will be soon. But this stadium, let's say, is still a one-purpose stadium. So I'm really anxious to find out, let's say, how this will be built. But there is many stadiums. So from a business perspective, that's a huge market. Technology will be part of a stadium, is already part of a stadium, and that will rise like hell over time. You see that already. This is a River Plate example where you have biometrics that determine, let's say, if you can go in, yes or no. You see that at the airports, that will go to stadiums. We almost forgot COVID-19 that really caused that we couldn't go to any stadium, couldn't be at a game. This is a project in the Netherlands where all sorts of technology was used to see and measure, let's say, the particles that were in the air. How can we work on, because there will be a next wave of COVID-19, probably it will be called COVID-20 or 22, but this means that we're working on that. Connectivity of a stadium, super important. Everybody wants to share because stadiums, as such, still have the same purpose, to come together and enjoy a match. And connectivity, because everybody needs to know that you're there. It's called a hybrid, fan engagement, interaction is getting there. This is an example that you will experience a little bit more with one of the companies that joining us. This is being built, or is already built, in the US, in Intuit Dome. Intuit Dome is a basketball stadium, LA Clippers home. It has been built, and there was 2.5 billion involved. Everyone has experienced, let's say, being in a stadium, halftime, you want to get a cup of coffee or a beer or whatever, and you have to be in these endless queues. That will be finished in the future. These are already examples that exist where you just have to tap your credit card, take whatever you want, and it will be charged to your card like that. Nobody involved, like no humans involved anymore. And this is also what is possible with technology and with AI, hyper-personalization. So if Walter enjoys a match of FC Barcelona, probably he wants to see different things than I want to do. And AI can learn that, let's say, and put the highlights, let's say, in my mailbox or on my phone, but also with offerings on merchandising, also, let's say, in dynamic ticket prices, etc. This will determine in a large way, let's say, the future also in stadiums. And this is another example, because stadiums are always part of their environment. And this is an example of what we see in Amsterdam, where the Johan Cruyff Arena is part of its environment as an energy hub. So they harvest energy, they store it in old batteries of Nissan cars below the stadium, they provide power when it's needed, and they store power when we have too much of it. So a completely different world. And this is just a backdrop for the stories of these guys. So let's go to you.
Yes, thanks a lot, John. If I can have the clicker as well, to prevent you to click when it's not meant. Yeah, very nice to be here today and to be able to present what Sorama brings to smart stadiums, fan engagement as such. Actually, we stumbled by accident on this market because we are a high-tech company from Eindhoven. We make sensor technology that can visualize sound. And previously, we applied that to product development or environmental noise monitoring. And at some point, we came in contact with PSV Eindhoven. I have a bit of a background in safety and security, and I knew some people there. And we thought, hey, what about that we apply our technology to give more situational awareness in a stadium? Because in safety and security, we oftentimes do a lot of seeing with cameras, but we don't listen. And if you know as a person how much you get in, information you get in through your ears and decisions you make based on what you get in through your ears, it's a lot of information lost. But the security manager at the time said, it's really nice, Paul, what you have to bring to the table, but I don't have any money. So we said, okay, who here at the club has money then? So he sent us to the commercial director, Frans Janssen, and there we pitched, how about if we can actually visualize the sound of the fans and also indicate where the loudest fans in the stadium are. And he was like, oh, that's very interesting. So what we did, we installed 30 of our sound cameras in the stadium, and the most engaging moment that we captured is in this slide. It's the 3-1 of Ryan Flamingo against Juventus. Sorry for the Juventus people here. It was a celebratory moment for PSV. And we captured this moment. I will play it for you. Is there no sound? Should be sound, please. Ah, there we go. So, especially that last part where you really see the fans engaging with the goal celebration, and then the Eindhoven with the stadium pulsing. At first, PSV didn't want to put this on their socials, and we asked them, hey, we have a very dormant Instagram account. Would you allow us to use the footage and place it on our socials? And they were like, yeah, do whatever you want. And we did. And we had in about 3 or 4 days, we had 1 million views, we had 80,000 likes, and it completely went viral. And it was something that we expected as a company. PSV needed a little bit of nudging, and currently they are working together with us to create a social media content stream that is around the fans. Because the reason that we are doing this, one of the reasons that our company exists, is we want to make the world sound right. That is our motto. And that could be that we make certain things a little bit more silent or a little bit more pleasant to the ear. But in a lot of cases, the atmosphere in stadiums can improve. So by using our technology, we try to improve the atmosphere in stadiums, also give the fans a bit of a mirror on how they perform as fans. I think a lot of content that is created by clubs is revolved around the club, is revolved around players, is revolved around what is the next lineup for the next game and such. But if the fans stay away, and this is also something that clubs need to consider, if the fans stay away, then there is no football. So we thought it would be nice to put fans in the limelight instead of the specific players, and yeah, we get very nice responses to that. Another part is that you can also use it for gamification, and that's the next example. So John also mentioned Intuit Dome, home of the LA Clippers, and here we have a system that can, on seat level, detect how enthusiastic fans are. In this case, it's used to do a section-based game. But on the other hand of that, the information that we gather is used to give people points for being a good fan. And if you're an enthusiastic fan and if you have Clippers gear, then you can save these points to get discount on your food and beverage, or discount on fan shop purchases, or you can get exclusive content that is specifically created for you as a loyal fan. And the people at Clippers very quickly understood, and also very quickly were able to connect a sponsor to this. And this is another interesting part, is just to connect sponsorships to how enthusiastic the fans are. You give them, how do you say that? You give them an experience instead of just showing your name, and that sticks a little bit better than the traditional way. So that's section one, and they scored some additional loyalty points on their app. Yeah, so I was there for 4 games last year, and every time they do this interaction, the whole stadium goes wild. And to show that, because this is obviously top-notch, and this is like the Champions League of fan engagement, if you will, in a stadium like this in the US. But we also did a smaller event that's around 3x3 basketball, where we coupled it to a sponsor, Odido, that's at least in the Netherlands a telecom provider. And there we did an interaction together with 250K, where we had large LED banners going all over the venue, and it was divided left and right. And they did a fan battle between left and right. So, and the side that won got all the prizes. I will skip to the first. Oh, wait, sorry, Björn. Oh. This. Maybe first watch this. This is just a goal moment. And then hopefully this. Here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so a very simple interaction that people can quickly relate to. It's very intuitive, and I have a nice small anecdote. So it was a 3-day event, and the women's were on Friday and Saturday morning, and then the men's Saturday afternoon and Sunday. And at the women's event on Friday at about 9 p.m., there were just 1/3 of all the crowd was still there. And one of my colleagues that was supporting this front of house, he texted me, he said, "Oh, we're going to do the interaction." And I looked into the arena and I was like, why are we going to do this with this amount of people? Yeah, just to see what happens. And they did it 3 times in a row, and the 1/3 of the people that were still there they went wild every time. So yeah, I think a nice new way of using and quantifying sound to get people into the game in a positive way. Yeah, so maybe handing it over to you then, Björn.
I think you have the system right here as well, right? So we can scream.
That would be great. We can test it. So 1, 2, 3. Applaud yourself. Yes, you did very well.
All right. No, thank you. Talking about fan engagement, I am a fan and also a sponsor of a really small club in the Netherlands, which possibly is completely unknown for you. That is VVV Venlo. We're quite famous because we lost 13-0 against Ajax Amsterdam at home during COVID time. But the problem for this, or let's say the advantage of the smaller clubs in a lot of different competitions is, of course, receiving money from fans, but also from sponsors. So a lot of attention and a lot of social media is going to the B2C part. And if you look at the Netherlands, VV Venlo, for example, we don't have a lot of television money. So we had La Liga and Portugal, for example. There's a big gap between the television streaming revenues in all competitions. In the Eredivisie, which is let's say the Dutch La Liga, it's also like it depends on your results over the past years. So we are like always in between the first and the second league. So we are quite low in the ranking, and we only receive 3 million per year for television broadcasting. So that means in total we have the B2C revenue, we have the television revenue, and then there's a big gap, and that must be filled by sponsorship and hospitality. So we need to be really creative in playing on certain levels by getting that revenue from the sponsors. So we thought, okay, what if we can make a system where we can create basically everything a sponsor needs to know or needs to do in just one platform. So that means you have the business network, you can host events, you can have those network conversations in there, but also the ticketing, and basically everything they need to know should be in that platform. That means that, for example, if you add sponsoring to it, you can add your tiers, your sponsor tier, your pyramids in it. You can easily use it to the sponsors and find also sponsors within the sponsor network. So we tried that in the Netherlands, and what we've seen is that we start at the smaller clubs, then from VVV we go to PSV. PSV is of course an international club, so you go to Borussia Dortmund in Germany, you go to AS Rome or Juventus in Italy, and then it starts going. So basically what we try to achieve is, you can see the little donut, that's how we call it. Our vision is to make people's lives easier. So to combine basically everything you need to know in just one platform, it's all about making people's life easier on the usage level of the B2C members, but also on the part of our clients. So in this case, for example, you see the video showing up. This is a platform for the UEFA. And we started with them for developing the sustainability platform. And all the sustainability responsible persons from all the clubs in the UEFA pyramid, but also all the, how do you say, like the associations, the federations, are in there. And it's not only about networking, but also sharing knowledge. So we try to just get all the information together and share what you love to share. And we see that when the interaction is going, the more ideas we get in, the more you learn from best cases, the better it works. So communication is not, it's quite of a boring theme, but it's really important in basically every aspect in a club. So what you see, for example, in the case of AS Rome, you already talked about loyalty. You can do the same for business people, for B2B. So when people are making connections within the platform, when they are attending business events, when they are, like, for example, buying extra hospitality, they will get rewarded for that. And with those points they at the end collect, they can use it for hospitality, they can use it for merchandise or whatever. So basically what we try to do, and also in the smart solutions, is to make it as easy as possible to first make the club's life easier, the sponsors' life or the hospitality members easier, and at the end, of course, also creating new revenue models. And that's what we see right now. We have a lot of clubs which are completely sold out. So we have the case of Borussia Dortmund. They're completely sold out on a business perspective. So they're like, okay, we can basically only do something, and that is ask the people more money for our assets. But their lowest step in for business and hospitality is at 25,000 euros a year, which is for a lot of SMEs a lot of money. So we created a new revenue model together with them to make the BVB business network, where no tickets are involved, where no hospitality during games are involved, but they decided to use the name and to use the local entrepreneurial network to become a step in the Dortmund pyramid. They only pay 1,909 euros per year, and they only get 10 networking events in a Dortmund style. We started 2 years ago, and now they have already more than 1,000 members in that local business pyramid that were not spending €1 before. So at the end, if you do the math, you imagine what it does for a club. And of course, when they want to step up, they're already familiar with the club, so it's way more easy for them to integrate in the model as well. So I think that's basically what we try to do, and what we think for the future is really important. Of course, AI will play a role, maybe in matchmaking, but also in a lot of processes during the business and hospitality, but also like systems from third parties, how we call it. We try to, that's the reason of the name bundling. In Dutch, German, and in English it means something. I don't know what's the word bundle in Spanish, but I think it doesn't mean something. So integrating a lot of tools in there. So it would be really nice, for example, to get tools like Sorama in our application. That, for example, when you score a goal, you can easily see, okay, well, this is the result of the fan engagement. and you can basically use a lot of systems in there. So I think you, John, started with the biometrics. I think the future will be that when you are entering a hospitality area, that you just walk in, they make a picture from you like on the airports, and they say, welcome Bjorn, and have a good time. And then they want to know who is in the stadium, and also on results, we've seen that only 30% of the visitors in the VIP parts of the stadium is already known by the club. So 70% of the people in that VIP area is there maybe for the first time, or is bring in by the members that do have the packages. So it's really valuable to get more information about them. So also in the Rome case, we had like QR codes all the way, that when people are entering the rooms, they can scan the code with their telephone, they go to our application, and then they can see, for example, who are the business partners, what are the events, they can see the menu, they can see where to go, they can even do orders. But of course, they can't attend the events, or they can't see the persons behind the sponsors. To see that, they need to be a member. So also there you got an extra lock-in to get more information, get more people involved, and at the end, gain revenue as well. So I think that's where we look at, from the Benelux perspective, to help the clubs gaining more revenue and makes people's lives way more easier.
Thank you, Bjorn. So you see, it's the answers are step by step, poco a poco in Spanish, being answered here by our panel. Also, although in your case, in both cases, the stadium still stays the same, the pitch still stays the same, but the things around are building up, and that's what we today, as OSF here, would like to give as a message where we are going. So. Not still there, but at least I think we now hit a small step towards where we will be in some years, which I think and hope we will have. I know we will have the answer afterwards. By the way, don't feel free to prepare questions, because after the next item, which is I've already heard a lot of times the word AI, and we use it very, very easily, but there's a very important thing for the future stadium, the fan engagement and the business, especially that's why we're here in the sports biz, where we are going in the future. So John, please go ahead and tell us a little bit more about AI.
So I'm the background guy, let's say, but happy, let's say, to fill you a little bit in on AI. My professional background is not in sports, but in tech, running tech companies. So one of the last companies that I did was an AI company, and that learned me a trick or two. And AI was part of the discussion in all the sessions that probably you have seen. The clicker, okay. Yeah. But what is AI? And for me, the first line is the most important one. It's a simulation of human intelligence, and this is now. It will change over time, but now a simulation of human intelligence programmed into machines. But what is not, and you see the examples already arising, it's not a real human. It's not your pal, it's not your girlfriend, it's not your partner, it's machines. It has no human feelings, although it would seem that way in sometimes. It needs to be trained, so it knows nothing by itself, but it's trained on data. And it does not understand like a human being understands you. And it cannot think or dream. Well, you say, well, it cannot think. No, not like we do. It is filling in the gaps with the most probable answers. So that's not the reasoning like we have it. But it will be there, and this is something that I warn young people about. This is our human intellect developing over time. And you see the intersection that is called singularity. So our collective intellect as human beings will be surpassed by AI. And the first estimates were that will happen somewhere 2070. Then it went back to 2040, 2050. And now it's already, let's say, people telling us that it will be much earlier. And that means a lot. So we will go from more generative AI to agentic AI, general AI, let's say, as in human beings. The most, let's say, resemblance with a human being as it comes to intelligence, to super intelligence. And super intelligence is like we're creating our own God. It's kind of philosophical, but basically that's the best way to see it. What does that mean for young people? What does that mean for stadiums in general? It will be an integral part in the future. And there are some examples. So if you look at what's going on in the world, we have wars everywhere. And there is some first messages coming in from drone attacks on stadiums. I saw one in India, unfortunately, a cricket stadium that was bombed by a drone. Let's say you're in a Camp Nou with 100,000 people and a drone flies in and nobody knows what it is. We need to control that. So here also NFL stated we need to be prepared in a way because this is something that, so safety is super, super important. AI can help us there. The other thing is, let's say, entrance. Bjorn already mentioned, let's say, bundling being active in that way. I think it's Orca, but you can mention it, let's say, or you can, later on. But this is already technology that scans you, not only in your face, but also what you're wearing, if there's something extraordinary to it. Should we have you out of the queue? Obviously, let's say the whole interaction with AI, the hyper-personalization, the highlights, the merchandising, the ticketing, that can be done flexible way. This will gain traction everywhere. And to my humble meaning, I think, let's say, that stadiums of the future will know you, will sense you, will feel you, let's say, if you're in a good mood, if you're in a bad mood, if you're having a good time, if you're having a bad time, and will act on that. So a stadium will be kind of a living organism using AI. But the other hand, let's say, is also the predictive maintenance or maintenance in general. If you look at this one, this is the Bernabeu example where one of our community members of Orange Sports Forum is involved. They use AI, let's say, to monitor the grass. Every little inch is monitored, so they know where to put extra, how do you say, growing stuff, extra light, extra water, etc. To continuously. But if you look at predictive maintenance, all these retractable pitches, roofs, safety, security checks, a lot will be monitored by AI. I showed you the example of the food and beverage stands that don't have any humans in anymore. This is a research that was done, and it showed that revenues went up 55%. So AI can make a difference because it detects what you're doing in the shop, whatever you just take with you, charges to your card, and a new revenue driver for a club. And this is one that probably Paul can tell you a little bit more about. It's just a general stadium, it's a PSV stadium, but they were part of a project, and you see it more and more in international football and in international events is discrimination. Choirs that have all sorts of awful messages to players and whatever. So what they did is they used AI and they used their acoustic cameras to just identify who these people are. And they can do that on seat level. So this could say, well, it was this person starting this, or it was that person starting this. Obviously, you end up in all sorts of privacy kind of regulations, but AI can make a difference there. So AI is an important future. AI for sports, I will leave it with that because I would love to have the discussion afterwards.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, John. I got some questions from some people on the socials because we don't have a microphone inside here. So I'll have the two questions which you sent me asked to you. And there's one thing I also found out, learned the other day of sustainability, and that's some company or technology I want to add to this information we are giving you. You know how in Spain especially, but in the Netherlands with low solar energy, there's some pitches already, artificial turf, so football, hockey, padel, etc., tennis, where they collect the sun power into water, which goes under the pitch, and they in a cold country like the Netherlands, they have enough energy to have the whole winter a warm club, warm water, and even the houses around are being kept warm in this harsh winters without any additional heating. So if we all live here, so if you imagine the sun we have here, how much more could we, let's say, live and use the power of the sun, except of the apart from all the other technologies with wind and solar energy, etc. Gentlemen, we are here at the Sportbiz. Biz is business, and this is individual. We're talking about individual business, but also, and that's one of the things, the Johan Cruyff Institute and foundations are also based on this. So, sports for everybody. Everybody has to be able to sport, but also we have to live around the sport and from the sport. So, a question to you both. You have a bundling. Paul, with Sorama, you have very profitable and good companies. But what are you doing together? Are you also well, I know you are in Orange Sports Forum, so we are the network for the business. But
no, I think we had a discussion yesterday at dinner. You were mentioning the example. I think a tech platform is like a theme park. So once you're used to functionalities, you get used to it, and you prepare yourself. Hey, what should be the next interesting thing for me to use? So for us, we have over 500 professional sports clubs and federations using our tools. So we get a lot of information and a lot of things on the wish list, which our development team loves to get back from the clubs. So what we try to do is learn. Of course, we have our vision, but learn from what is the wish from fans, what is the wish from sponsors, and what are the wishes from the club. And based on that, of course, within a network that we have, we of course see a lot happening around the world. So for example, the Sorama thing would be really nice for us to help Sorama with, but also the clubs with, and hey, if you're looking for fan engagement, please have a look at Sorama, and then I can show the video of PSV. Yeah, and I'm sure everybody who has a sports heart get goosebumps seeing that video for the first time. Perhaps Carolina not, but that's the thing. So I think working together and share the best ideas for the clubs will help us all. And
yeah, I think that is the ascension. So obviously we have our own products, we have our own solutions, but taking the example of Intuidome, we provide the data for a different company to make these awesome visuals that are on that big Halo screen. We are not going to step into that because that's not our cup of tea. So I think it's very important, although we have our own agenda, but to realize that together, if we work together and if we link the right incentives together, then we can accelerate sports entertainment a lot faster. And I think also with the way Gen Z, and I have a 13-year-old daughter, she looks at a movie like this, and it's a total different way of getting in entertainment or consuming sports, that if we work together we can accelerate that enormously, and I think that is something that we should consider. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, and I really do agree with you. And also one of the things we are standing here, and especially in my case, I'm passionate about sports. I'm not the biggest sportsman, but I'm passionate about watching it and enjoying it. I'm also passionate about tech, and that's why I'm so delighted to be able to join people, to connect people, whether it's from the Netherlands, whether it's from Spain, or whether it's from the whole world. And therefore, I wanted to John, you are 10 years ago. You were you founded Orange Sports Forum, and based on what you heard from Björn and from Paul, and also the 300 other members you have or we have, what do you think? Where are you going?
That's an interesting question, but well, as said, my roots are in technology, and If you look at technology, a lot will happen. A lot will change the way we consume sports, the way stadiums would feel. And like we are now wearing technology on body, a lot of things are on body, heart rates, a smartwatch, but technology will move from your body to your environment. And that will be used in stadiums. So you will have a stadium, that's at least if I can dream, a stadium that captures how fans experience a concert or a game, will adjust lighting, will adjust sound, will adjust, let's say, in a way that you will feel more comfortable. It will be a learning model, so they will use that and say, well, okay, this works, so maybe we can do that better next time. AI will be the big driver of these kind of developments. So that's one thing. Technology will be everywhere in the stadium and will be there for you, basically, to have an immersive experience when you're there. It will be more hybrid in a way. I think if you look at stadiums, there's also a lot of people, let's say, that can join a concert or not a game. There will be kind of a hybrid consummation, let's say, of experiences as fans. AR, VR will probably play a role in that, but also the hyper-personalization of sports, so you don't need to be in the stadium anymore, although I think that the real fan would want to be there. Stadiums will also be more sustainable in a way than they are now. They consume energy currently. But I think in 10 years, they will produce energy, and not only for the stadium itself, but also for their environment. If you look at the pitch that you mentioned, so we have a member that I can show you a little bit, let's say, how that looks in the end. It's called a collector field. It looks like this. So they harvest.
This is underneath the pitch, yeah?
This is on the pitch. So this is below, and this is one layer extra if it comes to artificial turf. Artificial turf gets very warm, so this is used to cool, but it harvests energy. They put it in the ground, so you can do it in summer, use the energy in the wintertime. It's a completely new way of looking at it. It's like a road that you drive on every day. Now, you don't expect that to be delivering energy. That will also change. So it will be more sustainable in a way. All the materials there, water harvesting, energy harvesting, will completely be different. It will be more, to my opinion, part of their environment. So if it's a suburb, if it's a center of a big city, it will be part of that in producing energy, divesting energy. That will definitely change. The multi-purpose side of stadiums will definitely be an important role, because otherwise it will be super difficult to exploit them. The stadiums that I know of are being used a couple of days a year. That's not possible anymore. So you will need to be a destination for 365 days.
Going back to your first words about the first stadiums and the cost of the first Anfield. Yeah. And the cost nowadays, a new stadium cost, we see it at, everybody knows it, sees it every day probably, the new Spotify stadium of FC Barcelona. This is a huge investment. So all the stadiums in the world will have to get their investment back, and that's what I think we are going into the future. In 5-10 years, you go to a football pitch, I know it's the last minute, in 5-10 years, we go to a football pitch, and we're not going there only for 1 hour and a half, not 90 minutes. No, we will be, and we see it already in America, Paul, you have lived it, we'll be there double that time, 3 hours, 4 hours, enjoying ourselves, have passion, and not only going for the sports, but we'll have the complete experience, and that is where we're going to. And I thank you very much, gentlemen, for the explanation. We are still here afterwards if you want to have more questions. But one thing is clear: we're going to enjoy the sports. We are going to have passion. And we business people are going to connect ourselves to just have a better product in general. Thank you very much. Thank you much, Mike.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.